Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, you're welcome. So today I will be teaching you guys how to make a crochet raffle hat. So you'll be needing some yarns, a pair of scissors, measuring tape, needle to sew in the ends, and then you'll be needing a crochet hook. So I'm using a 4.0mm hook for this particular crochet hat, and I'm using a 200-gram cotton yarn. So now that you've gotten all of these, let's begin with our crochet hat. So you're going to go ahead and take a yarn, make a magic circle, just like this. Go in with your crochet hook, pull out a loop, and then chain one, just like this. So you're going to go ahead and chain two more, making it 3 chains. Okay, so this counts as a double crochet. So now we are going to go ahead and chain 11 more double crochets, making it 12 double crochets into our ring. So go ahead. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So just keep going until you get to 12 double crochets, and I'll meet you at the end. So at the end of row 1, we now have our 12 double crochets into our ring. So we are going to pull the yarn to make it tight. And now for row 2, to begin row 2, we are going to make a slip stitch right on top of our chain 3 that we made at row 1. So just go into the top of the chain 3, put in your hook, and then pull out the yarn to make a slip stitch. Now go ahead and chain 2, and this chain 2 does not count as our first double crochet. So we're going to go right into that same stitch or that same hole, and then place 2 double crochets into every single stitch all the way around for row 2. So go ahead and do this, and I will meet you at the end of row 2. So we have come to the end of row 2. So we're going to make our last 2 double crochets into the very last stitch. And then we are going to make a slip stitch. Make a slip stitch and then chain 2 again. Please always note that the chain 2 does not count as a double crochet, so you need to place your next double crochet right into the same space as the chain 2. So for row 3, we are going to make a pattern of 1 2 1 2. So into your next space, you're going to chain 1, and into the next, you're going to chain 2. Into the next, you're going to chain 1, and into the next, you're going to chain 2. This is the pattern for row 3. So keep doing this all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of row 3. Here we are almost at the end of our row 3. So we're going to make our last 1 double crochet, and then into the next 2 double crochet, and we are going to make a slip stitch right on top of our 2 chains. Okay, so go ahead and make a slip stitch on top of your chain 2, and then chain 2. Now for row 4, the pattern is going to be 1 double crochets into the first 2 stitches and 2 double crochets into the next. So 1 1 2 1 1 2. That is the pattern for row 4. So go ahead and make a double crochet right into the same space as your chain 2, and then onto the next you make another double crochet, and onto the next you make 2 double crochets. Okay, so go ahead into the next 1 double crochets, onto the next 1 double crochets, and onto the next 2 double crochets. So 1 1 2 1 1 2. Do this all the way around, and I will meet you at the end of row 4. Here we are almost at the end of row 4, and I want to show you guys this little trick. So this is to make sure you are not making a mistake. So you realize your 2 double crochets always falls on your 2 double crochets, okay? So make sure all the patterns that you are making, your 2 double crochets always falls on the previous 2 double crochets. That will make your work straight and correct. All right, so let's keep going. So the next stitch you're going to place 1 double crochet, and into the next 1 double crochets, and into the next 2 double crochets. So let's go ahead and finish up real quick. Now we are at the end of row 4. Now go ahead and make a slip stitch on top of your chain 2 and then chain 2. Now for row 5, we are going to be doing a pattern of 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 2. So go ahead and make 1 double crochets into the first 3 stitches and 2 double crochets into the next. 1 double crochets into the first 3 stitches and 2 double crochets into the next. Keep going and I will meet you at the end of row 5. So we are almost at the end of row 5. So we're going to go ahead by chaining our last 1 double crochets into our 3 stitches and then into the next 2 double crochets into the very last stitch. Go ahead and make a slip stitch right on top of our chain 2 and chain 2. So for the size of hearts, most people do 5 rows or 6 rows, and I think that's also depending on the size of hook you use, and this measures about 4.5 4.8. So I will be making 7 rows, which measures about 6 inches, because my customer has more of locks and braids on. So you can go ahead by making 1 more row, or you can just stick to your 5 rows. Okay, so if you want to do 5 rows, then just wait till I'm done with this particular pattern. Now for row 6, we're going to go ahead by placing 1 double crochets into the first 4 stitches, and then into the next we're going to place 2 double crochets. So the pattern is 1 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 1 2. Okay, so go ahead and keep doing this all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of row 6. We are at the end of row 6. We're going to make our last 2 double crochets and then make a slip stitch on top of our chain 2. And now we're going to chain 2. Now this 6 rows measures about 5.5, which is very perfect for any size of ruffle hat you want to make, depending on the hook, because this is a 4.0 millimeter hook. So if you're okay with just 6 rows, then hold on till I'm done with my row 7, and then we can now proceed after row 7. So for row 7, we're going to be making 1 double crochets into the first 5 stitches and 2 double crochets into the next. 1 double crochets into the first 5 stitches and 2 double crochets into the next. So the pattern is 1 1 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 1 1 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of row 7. So here we are almost at the end of row 7. We're going to make our last stitches. So we're going to go ahead and make 1 double crochets into the next, 1 double crochets into the next stitch, 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 and onto the last stitch 2 double crochets. So always note that it always ends with 2 double crochets before you slip stitch. So we're going to slip stitch right on top of our chain 2, and then we're going to chain 2. Now we are not doing any more increases, or we're not doing any more patterns again. So we're going to go ahead and start our main rows for our hat. So I'm going to go ahead and take a measurement of my circumference to make sure it's accurate. So here I have exactly 6.5 inches. Yes, 6.5 inches is what I'm going with. So I'm sure those going with 6 rows are going to have 6 inches. Okay, it's going to measure 6 inches, and for 5 rows it's going to measure 5.5 inches, which is also very perfect if the head size is small. Okay, so I want to show you guys my previous hats that I made. So here you can see that I made 6 rows, and I also used a 4.0 millimeter hook. So it's 6 rows or 6 inches is a perfect size to use. Okay, so now for row 8 I will be chaining 2. Okay, and then now we're going to be doing 1 double crochets all the way around. Okay, 1 double crochets into every single stitch all the way around. So for those that did 6 rows, this is going to be your row 7. So you're going to be placing 1 double crochets all the way around into every single stitch for your row 7. For 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you're going to be doing that for you're going to be adding 10 more rows to your 6 rows, making it 16, or you can add any amount of rows you want to add to make sure the length of your hat gets to the ear side where you can begin your ruffles from, because that's how I prefer mine. So I'm going to go ahead and add only 10 because I made 7 rows. Okay, so you can go ahead and add yours. So keep going all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. So we're almost at the end of row 8. So we're going to go ahead and make our last stitches. 1 double crochets into every single stitch. Now we're going to make a slip stitch on top of our chain 2, chain 2, and then continue making 1 double crochets into every single stitch. For this is my row 8, so I'm going to make that for row 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then that will be the end of this particular row, and we can begin our ruffles. So see you guys at the end. So we are almost at the end of our very last row for our double crochets. So I made 10 more rows of single double crochets all the way around. So we're going to make a slip stitch on top of our chain 2. Okay, so this is how I check when my ruffles are going to begin. So I always like it to start from exactly on top of my ear. Okay, so I don't know how you want yours, but this is how I like mine to be. So now to begin the ruffles, you're going to first of all chain 2, and then you're going to go ahead by making slip stitches into every single stitch. So we are at the end. We are going to go ahead and go on top of that chain 2, and then pull out a yarn and make a slip stitch. Okay, now we are going to be chaining 3 this time around because we are making the ruffles. So we're going to go straight into that same space as our chain 2, and then make 2 more double crochets. So we're going to be making 3 double crochets into every single stitch. 3 double crochets into every single stitch. Now the slip stitch we did was to make the hat tight so that the ruffles can come out properly, because most of the times whenever you do the 3 double crochets into the same stitch, it loosens up the stitches. So the slip stitch enables it to be tighter on your head. So you can go ahead and keep making 3 double crochets into every single stitch, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. So this is the end of our row 1 for our ruffles. So we're going to make our last 3 double crochets into our last stitch. Now let's make a slip stitch on top of our chain 3 and then chain 3. Now note that this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. Okay, so we're going to add 2 more double crochets into that same space for row 2 of our ruffles. So that's the same for row 1 for our ruffles. The chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so always make sure you add 2 more to make it 3. So we keep going with 3 double crochets into every single stitch all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of row 2. So at the end of row 2, we're going to make a slip stitch on top of our chain 3, and we're going to chain 3. Now for row 3 of our ruffles, we're going to be chaining 3, and then we're going to be making a treble crochet. So to make a treble crochet, just go ahead, take your hook, pick 2 loops, go into the very next stitch, pull a loop, pull through 2 loops, pull through 2 loops, and pull through 2 loops. And that's how you make a treble crochet. So you're going to make this treble crochet into every single stitch all the way around. So do that, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. And this is going to be our last row for our ruffle hat. So that's the end of our ruffles. So now we're going to cut the ends of our yarn and tighten off, and then we are going to be sewing the ends of all our leftover yarns. Okay, so that's the purpose of this needle. Okay, so do that, and I will show you guys how my ruffle looks like. And this is what mine looks like. I hope yours is as pretty as mine. If this is your first time watching, please do well to subscribe. If this video was helpful, please drop a comment. Thank you all so much for watching. See you in the next video.